Hello everybody and welcome to an episode of OMG Craft that's all about farms. Oh man, 1.16 is here and the grass is high and the farms are nigh? I don't know. But we have a list of five different farms here. And this list could basically be called the mediocre farm list. These farms, they work. They will give you resources, but are they perfectly efficient? No. Do they work all the time? Most of the time. So they're very easy. That's really the thing that sets these farms apart, is that it doesn't get any easier. And for some of the resources for the nether, these are going to be very, very nice. They are not specifically only nether farms, but they are specifically for 1.16. Specifically this fish farm right here, this fishing farm, AFK fish farm. This is a farm that is updated for 1.16, but it really doesn't have anything to do with the nether. So let's get right into it. Before we start, I want to say a big thank you to those of you who are YouTube members. Thank you so much for your direct support. Also want to mention that we have a merchandise store with a brand new nether poster. It is gorgeous, it is awesome, it is fantastic. I absolutely love it. I've held it in my hands and orders are arriving. People are loving it. So you can find that poster at helloomg.com. And there's even an option for me to sign it. So this first farm is a basalt farm. Let's switch into survival mode. And really it requires any type of pick. It does not need to be a diamond pick, but it does need to be a pick that can break basalt. And basalt has an easy way for you to harvest it and to generate it. Because, I mean, not really to harvest it. I mean, you use a pick. You use a pick to harvest it. But to generate it, all you need is a bit of blue ice on top of soul soil and with an air block in between, and then flowing lava to go in between that. So basically you got soul soil as the bottom of your sandwich. Sandwich is filled with flowing lava, which will become this basalt, and then the top of this, well, we're gonna burn here. Okay, there we go. Let's just put that right there. And then the top of the sandwich is blue ice, which I broke. Now, blue ice, if you are unfamiliar with blue ice, it is a compression of compact ice, and compact ice is a compression of ice. You got all the three different types of ice: blue, packed, and ice. So let's just go ahead and grab some ice. You get ice by picking up with a silk touch pick. And that's basically it. So you take this ice, you put it in your craft table, then you get some packed ice as a result. Then you take packed ice, put that in a craft table, and you get blue ice as a result. And that is how you get some blue ice. So blue ice, air pocket with flowing lava nearby, and then that'll create the basalt as long as there is some soul soil at the bottom. And this little plan here, this build, will pick up the basalt and put it into a chest. So let's get a building. Everything in my hot tray is all you need to build it yourself. You throw down 2 chests onto the ground, put a hopper into that chest, make sure that the nozzle is pointing into that chest. Take powered rail, put it on top, and then take a minecart with a hopper inside of it and place it on top of that. Then you're gonna take your soul soil and you're gonna place it right on top of that whole setup here, and you can barely click the top of that rail and it'll just make sure to put it exactly where it goes. Then I'm gonna put down some of this obsidian right here, and that is eventually where our lava is going to go. I'm gonna put down a temporary block just so that I can fill in that entire area. And then I like to continue around with obsidian, because if you are using some type of pick that is fast, the obsidian will slow it down as the lava sort of gets over in that area. And I also like to put down another piece of obsidian right there as well, so we can destroy that temporary block. We'll move that temporary block over here, boop, and then we'll put our blue ice on top, and then we can fill this with lava, and as it flows over, it'll create basalt. Then to finish up the look, we can take some of our black stone stairs, put one there, and now we have a great way to get up here, and we can constantly harvest that basalt. Whenever it drops, it'll be picked up by this hopper minecart, put in the hopper, and then put into the chest. And I'm in creative mode, so I'm destroying it, not actually mining it. Next is a way for you to make your own Nylium. So we got the warped Nylium and we have the crimson Nylium, and this outputs a little bit of crimson roots and warped roots as well as a tiny amount of netherrack that gets through the whole process. So let's switch into survival mode. And for this, you'll need a silk touch pick, and that's really it. If it has too much efficiency on it, it actually won't work. The efficiency kind of breaks this whole situation. So what you do, so really just efficiency 1 or no efficiency at all is what is required. So all you have to do is walk to the back of this, put some netherrack in your offhand, and then your pick in the other hand. And as you click, here, we went too far. We'll have to actually stand over that block so we don't accidentally put another block in the air. This will detect that a block has been put down and then immediately bone meal it, and it'll turn it into either the crimson Nylium or the warped Nylium. Now, it's a little bit loud, I know, and every once in a while, just like how those roots just spawned in, it will accidentally put down an extra piece of the, well, and no, I'm out. It'll put down an extra piece of the bone meal, and also stuff goes flying everywhere. Don't know how to stop it, but it does. So you get a little bit of extras with this farm, on top of the fact that sometimes it's not exactly efficient, and you also pick up a little bit of netherrack. But if you want one of these types of Nylium, this is a really, really simple way to do it. And you can easily make this only do a single type of Nylium if you just get rid of one of them. So remember how Nylium works is that you have to have the block down, you have to have netherrack nearby, and then you have to grab, whoops, not that, some bone meal and then bone meal it. So in this situation that we have over here, we had both types of Nylium nearby, so it was basically a 50-50 chance of which one it will become. So let's go ahead and make this. So here is everything you need to make this, and obviously the bone meal and the netherrack is up to you on how much you actually want to provide. So once again, we're gonna start off with the chests and the hoppers that are gonna go down. Next, I like to put a temporary block down and then take both of my observers, boop, and put them into that temporary block. That way they're both observing that space. Next, on the back of each of these observers, you're going to put a sticky piston, and one of these will eventually have a block that's actually up in the air. So we're just gonna choose this one to be the one up in the air. The other one is just gonna have a normal old block on the back of it. Then fill this area back here with space, with all these blocks, and put one dispenser facing towards that empty space right there. Finally, take your redstone dust and fill in these two areas, and then take all your bone meal, put it into the dispenser. And I like to put a stair right here because while you're using your pick, if you accidentally, if something breaks or you don't realize what's going on, your pick will mine through wood very, very slowly. So you have a moment to kind of realize, okay, well, we're done with what's going on right now, and you know, don't break the whole build. Like I mentioned, your pick should have silk touch, so it can actually pick up the Nylium, and then it should also be less than efficiency 2. So efficiency 1 or no efficiency at all is good. Finally, take whatever type of Nylium you want to create. So if you only want crimson, then put a crimson there and don't put the warped. If you only want warped, do the exact opposite. But if you want both, 50-50 chance, put them both on either side. Then take your netherrack, put it in your offhand, switch into survival mode if you're building this creative, which you're probably not, and place down one block inside of there. And as you can see, it fired off. And what I like to do is just make sure that I'm over that block, because as you place it down, you could accidentally like place extra ones unless you're standing directly over it, and then you don't have that chance. So hold down your right click and your left click at the same time, and then the machine kind of goes crazy, putting down the And so it'll update immediately and bone meal, all that stuff, and you'll get the crimson and warped Nylium. Also, if you're standing sort of over this block, then you have a better chance to pick up some of the flying blocks that come out of this contraption. Let's check out just even that small amount. There we go. We got quite a lot of Nylium, which is great. This next build is very similar to one that I saw Waddles create, although mine is, I basically took his as inspiration and then didn't use any of the stuff that he did and redid everything because I'm weird like that. So in this little build, it allows you to get crimson, or not crimson, but any type of stems, roots, all that sort of stuff. There's only one type of thing that it will not get, which is these sprouts, these tiny little nether sprouts. They have to be sheared with actual shears in order to get. But here's how this works. As we bone meal, the base will move, and so we are able to pick up all the different fungus, roots, sprouts. I guess technically, like I said, the sprouts, not so much. Grass, all these weird things that will happen on the warped Nylium. And I built it over here again with a slightly different design, a 4 deep design for the crimson variety. And as long as the block right in front of that observer updates, then it'll all go according to plan. And then underneath, eventually, everything will get picked up, and then it'll get deposited down here inside of this chest. And as you can see, it's expandable. You can change it around. In this one, we have really only 3 deep. Over here, we have 4 deep. So it's a very, very simple build to get a whole bunch of those roots, and specifically the fungus. The fungus is a big deal because this will allow you have to bone meal this on top of Nylium in order to get the stems. And so getting a lot of fungus, that's really great. Warped roots, I mean, I guess you could fill a big composter with this. Does this even work in a composter? Okay, don't let me down, Minecraft. Okay, there you go. We can fill a composter. So you can fill a composter with them. There you go. Unless you love this look, which if you do, good luck. Good luck with life if you are a fan of that look. So I'm gonna build a 4x4 design, and this is everything that we need in the hotbar for this design. So we're gonna start off with 2 chests, boop, boop, and I'm gonna have it kind of just float over this thing. Then we're gonna put 4 hoppers into that, but not in the way that I am, because it's gonna be like done well. And boop, 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 just like that. Then we're going to put some hoppers on either side, facing into those hoppers, and these are always going to make sure that our rail system is constantly unloaded. Then we're going to put down 2 powered rails, and we're going to just kind of snake this rail system all the way around until it meets back up. And by the way, these blocks is just like building blocks. Any type of building block. This is not an exact count of building blocks, so just keep that in mind. So now we are done with all the rail. I guess we technically need some mine carts with hoppers inside of them. So add that to the shopping list of things that you need. I like to have 2 of them, but it's totally up to you on how many you want to use. So we're just gonna push this one over the powered rails, push that one over the powered rails, and then they'll eventually work themselves out. There we go. And now they're moving around looking super glitchy. Whoa. Okay, well, they're working. Next, we're gonna take our Nylium, whatever flavor of Nylium you want. Could be crimson, could be warped, could be some new flavor of Nylium. Maybe, you know, maybe peaches and cream, or cookies and cream, or cookie dough. Oh my gosh, whatever flavor you want. So there you go. We're gonna put the Nylium right above it. Then I like to go ahead and fill in these edges, the front and back edges. On top of one of those, we're gonna put down an observer, but make sure it is looking towards the Nylium, not that close. Oh my gosh, come on, observer. We're having troubles. There we go. The Nylium, that is now pointed at the Nylium. Don't know why that was so difficult. And now we're just gonna build up these walls on the front and the back, and those are going to be too tall. On the back side, where this observer is, we're gonna continue out and then leave one space over here. And we're going to have our sort of like sidewall head all the way over there. Over here, leave 2 spaces and then come all the way out. So what's gonna happen is on this side, we're gonna put 4 normal pistons down. Why did that? Oh no. Oh no, this is gonna cause a problem. All right, so all we have to do here is take these powered rails and move them over to this side. And then these can be removed and then filled in, boop, boop, just like that. And it's gonna be the exact same thing over here. Put down your block, power it, there we go. Now everything is good to go. Okay, as we were discussing, we put down the pistons over on this side, then we put them down over on this side, and we fill in the rest of this area with blocks. Same thing over here, more blocks. Then we grab some redstone, and we're just going to place it all across this back line up into the observer. Now, the side that didn't have that extra space, that is all good to go. But the side that has that extra space, we're going to throw down a redstone repeater and then add an extra bit of delay. So it's back just a single tick. Then we're going to continue the redstone line down that direction. Now we can kind of test it by putting down our redstone. Looks like it is working great. Is it all going down here into the chest? It is. Fantastic. Now we switch all this out for bone meal and we start bone mealing away. There is a tiny little thing that happens sometimes, which is, oh, it just happened right there, where when you bone meal this block, it bone meals, the things grow all around, but not on the block that you just bone meal. So just keep holding it down and it'll end up working eventually. And the worst thing that's ever happened is that there was a fungus thing, the mushroom, and I accidentally bone mealed the mushroom when it was down, and it created a big old tree. So that sometimes happens, but it's nothing to be super worried about. So there you go. Now you have a great way to create either crimson or warped items really, really quickly. Finally, let's talk about AFK fishing. This has been severely nerfed inside of 1.16, but what people don't realize is that AFK fishing is still viable, but there are just some restrictions. If you want it to be easy, you have some restrictions. If you want it to be difficult, everything is like it used to be. So right here, this is actually the smallest, most efficient AFK fish farm I have ever seen. I got this from Rayworks. I also got this design from Rayworks, although I totally simplified it and probably made it not nearly as great. That's not supposed to be there. So, in fact, that doesn't need to be there at all. So, just so you know that is the situation right now. And this design, this type of design we've seen before. Sometimes it has a trapdoor, sometimes it doesn't. And it's a very, very, very simple design. And it still works in 1.16. The only issue is that you'll only ever be able to get fish. So you're not able to get any type of treasure. You can't get cool books of enchanting. You can't get any of that stuff. And it's probably a little bit slower than if you wanted to fish any other way. But it does still work. It works as an experience grinder in a way, and then also it will get fish as well. So you can see these fish coming in. They're not going into my inventory. They're going into this chest down here. We've caught 3 so far. So it does work. It just will not ever give you the books that it used to, the treasure that it used to. So the build is super simple, so let's show that off. So this is all you need for this build. Just 3 chests, hopper, some fence. It does not need to be warped fence or warped pressure plate, but it does need to be a fence and a pressure plate. That's basically a wooden pressure plate. And that is it. Water and any type of solid block. Can't be a non-solid block, but it does need to be a solid block. So it can't be glass or anything like that. So first off, start off by putting down your chest like we normally do. Put down a hopper. On top of that hopper, put down your fence and your pressure plate. Now we're going to put down water, and this water is going to try to flow into the nearest hole that is nearby. So you may, if you didn't build this into the ground, which you can totally do, you may want to put some blocks just around so that when you put it there, it's automatically going to search for the nearest hole, which will be right there And that's what it ended up doing. Now take another chest, place it on the ground, and put that solid block that I was talking about on top of that chest. Now, just get your fishing rod, and I have it still over here, and I have lure 3 on this just to make it look, you know, like, hey, we're catching stuff kind of fast. And for the video, I don't want to talk for 3 minutes while I wait for a fish to come by. And how you use this is you look right at the edge of this pressure plate. And as the bobber goes into it, the pressure plate goes down, allowing you to see the chest right there. And then when the fish is caught, the bobber leaves the pressure plate, allowing you to reel back in the bobber. It is ingenious. All AFK fishing really does is it exploits you trying to do one thing, but then the fishing overriding that thing. So in this situation, you are trying to actually open the chest, but because there's a block on top of it, you can't. And then once the bobber goes down and the pressure plate comes up, the game realizes you're not trying to open a chest anymore because the pressure plate is in the way. And then that allows you to lure in the fish. And so we've already caught 1 fish and 1 bone with this design. Super duper simple. Now, if you want to catch treasure, if you want to catch books, enchanted books, and all that sort of stuff, this is the design that you're gonna have to start to follow. And even this design, I didn't spend a ton of time on it because holy moly, it's like complicated. And I mean, it's complicated for me. I mean, come on, y'all, you know it's super complicated. Also, I had spent so much time making these that I was just like giving up at this point on this one. So here's the situation with fishing in order to get treasure loot. The area that your bobber falls into needs to be within a 5x5 area. So it needs to have its block that it's sitting in and 2 blocks on either side. It also needs the block that it's sitting in and then 2 blocks underneath. And then it also needs the block it's sitting in with 2 blocks above. So you need this 5x5x5 area that is like perfect river, okay? You can't have even just 1 block like that in that space is going to screw up your fishing. It needs to be either air or water, and that is it. Now, this means that you really can't have something detect the bobber to see if the bobber's going down like we did in the other build. And the only way to really use any type of AFK fishing mechanics is to have a timer. And Rayworks did all of Rayworks and Rayworks' friends did all the hard math to figure out that around 5 seconds, 95 game ticks, is actually an optimal time to pull in the fishing rod. It doesn't get every fish, but because the fish has to kind of like swim over, and then when it's there, you have a second to reel it in, and all that stuff, it works out that on average, every 5 seconds, if you're using Lure 3, reeling in a fish is more likely going to actually get you some loot and some fish. So right here, we have a whole bunch of repeaters that end up being 95 game ticks. So as we cast, come back, little fishing rod, no. Don't leave me. So as we cast our fishing rod up here, so actually I need to do it inside of this block first, and then I aim for the note block. This could be a chest like we used in the previous one, but a note block is more traditional. The repeaters will go through their 5-second countdown, and then this trapdoor will close, and then you'll be able to reel in your fish every 5 seconds. Now, this is the biggest issue that I have, is that every once in a while that trapdoor will come down a little bit too fast, and I won't be able to get the bobber out because the bobber going through this tripwire thing is the thing that starts the countdown to create that little flip to start it all over again. So as you can see, as it goes through there, it starts the countdown. So if for some reason your timing is a little bit off, there's a little bit of lag on a server, you won't be able to get your bobber back out there. Rayworks has a way to solve this. I tried installing it on mine and it really didn't work out. So it's still a little bit finicky for me. I feel like if you're trying to aim for those fishing things, like even that was a bad toss because it went too close to that wall. If you're trying to get treasure from fishing, I still think that AFK fishing may not be the best way to do it. and you'll probably still just be doing fishing for experience and a whole bunch of fish, which you can do with this simple AFK fishing situation. This complicated one, I don't think it's worth it. And that about wraps it up for this episode of OMG Craft. I hope that you enjoyed this one, and if you did, please give this video a big ol' thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe for future videos, tips, tricks, tutorials, and spotlights here on OMG Craft. And like I mentioned before, don't forget about that merchandise store, helloomg.com. You guys are fantastic. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video. Bye.